What?
Without a dope beat to step two.
She's...
Did you listen to Like a G6 that I sent? Remember, I kept saying, singing a bit at the beginning of the Dazzler one, and you were like, boots with the fur. I was like, that's the wrong song.
Oh.
And then I sent you another.
No. Did you send it to me? On what?
Did.
TikTok?
On WhatsApp. Oh, yeah, because we were popping bottles. Popping bottles with the ice like a G6. Like a G6, and you kept saying boots with the fur.
Yeah, it was just, that was the way you were saying it. It was
like bottles with the ice, boots. It's like mums. It's like mums at a wedding where they get the lyrics wrong, and they're like,
I know this young person's song.
Oh, look at me dancing.
Boots with the fur.
Oh yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast where we talk about all sorts of geeky things. Sometimes our knowledge is perfect. Sometimes our knowledge is a little bit
incomplete.
That's right. I'm John. That's Nick. Are you sure you want to be a wood elf? Because today we are talking about the Elder Scrolls franchise.
The whole thing, or just the new one?
We are going to mention...
Because I don't know anything about it, so I should probably know.
We're going to talk about the new remaster. It's relevant because Bethesda Studios has recently just come out. It was a few days of rumors, I suppose, but they just came out and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we've remastered this 20-year-old video game. It looks amazing. Here you go. It's available today to download. To start playing it." And tens and hundreds of thousands of people was like, yes, oh my god, I loved this game, including me. I loved this game when I was younger. I'm buying it right now. I'm gonna spend every single day playing a little bit more and just reliving my experience with this one particular game.
What's different?
Let's jump right in. What's different?
So loud.
I'm so excited.
I know you're excited.
I'm so loud. I'm so happy to be on a...
They're right here.
I'm so happy to be on a podcast.
Here they are.
Thank you for inviting me.
There's no audience.
Right, I know.
They're right in there.
What's different? The good question. So basically, they've 20 years ago, the graphics were not great, and you can tell.
20 years ago?
Yeah, 20
Jesus.
years. 2004 it came out.
What was it released on?
It was released at the time. I think it was on Xbox 360.
Jeez.
PlayStation, maybe 3? Definitely. I don't remember. I felt like we had devices where we could look this up.
I know. Did they have a PlayStation 3?
What do you mean?
Did they not go original 2, 4?
No, there was a 3.
Okay.
No.
Just sometimes they don't, and they're keeping you on your toes.
Yeah. I know they definitely have a PS3. I think because the PS4 was such a jump in terms of specs that people didn't really.
And I wrote a lot about when the PS5 was coming out, so I missed all the stuff in the middle. I remember original PS2, and then 5.
Did they call it the PS back in the day? Or was it just
the PlayStation?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh no, but was there a PlayStation 1 after the original PlayStation?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just checking.
Because there was back growing up. Side note, there was Nintendo, Sega, and then Sony came out with the PlayStation, which kind of blew everything else out of the water.
Yeah.
And Sega kind of
Sega died a death, didn't they?
Sega died a death. It was I
was a Sega person.
It was called Sega Genesis, the little black one.
Yes, and ours was called Mega Drive, which was the same thing.
I always get confused if that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had a Mega Drive, but my friend had the Genesis, and so American games, some of them wouldn't work on a Mega Drive.
Oh.
The way that old American videos wouldn't play on UK TVs and things like that.
That was the way of doing regions.
I feel like sidetracked, but I feel nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
The Genesis, the cartridges were rounded.
I believe you, yeah.
And on the Mega Drive, they were kind of cornered, so you couldn't actually fit.
Oh, it wouldn't actually fit in the slot.
And when I borrowed my friend's, Sonic 2, I literally filed off a bit of this.
You took
Mega Drive.
a tool.
Yeah, I took out my dad's toolkit to cut
the straightest thing you've ever done.
By far the straightest thing I've ever done. I can't tell if it worked. Can't remember if it worked or not. Can't imagine it would have.
It doesn't matter if it did or not, because right now it just matters that you had that.
I had the memory.
You have the memory. You had the drive, the ambition to
The
actually
Mega Drive.
So Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion was released in
Yeah.
2006
Okay.
on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3.
You got it right.
I was right, yes.
Yay.
That's so unusual.
That's
us to get
so not
things right.
like us.
So yeah, it was 2006, which is almost 20 years ago, and they basically read the entire game, the play, including all the bugs that it had, all the same. They're all still there. The weird quirks of like some like the voice acting, the weirdness is all still there.
Yeah.
There's one particular audio file that someone found once where the voice actor was like, said the line like, "Oh, and then she went into town." Wait, let me do that one again. And she says the entire line again. And the whole thing is in the game as that one character's like line. If you click that option or whatever, it's still there.
That's great.
It's still there, yeah. Which I fucking love. And like all the weirdness is still there. All they've upgraded is like the graphics. They've the user interface where they have like when you pause the game and go into the menus, whatever. Like that's updated. It's still confusing as fuck, but it's much better in my opinion because it makes marginally more sense on how to navigate it. The biggest thing is the graphics and the engine that they use to design the game, where like the characters look so much more real. The environment is so much more colorful and detailed, and it's just beautiful. Yeah, and like it's just bring on the nostalgia for me to play this game again. And like the music is the same. I've played it, so I bought it like when it came out a few days ago, and I've probably put in like between 15-20 hours in it already.
Wow.
Just walking around. I know.
Good use of time.
It's fantastic. So it's gotten it's big on social media now because everyone's like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing." Other people are like, "I've never played this one because I was too young, or because Skyrim was my Elder Scrolls 5."
Okay, so what
called
is
Skyrim? They were my first one. Should I go back and do this? Should I?
Because I thought Skyrim was a different game.
Okay, so take a step backwards. So Elder Scrolls is the franchise, and they've had a couple sort of games come out. The one that you're thinking of, Elder Scrolls 5, is called Skyrim, and that is in the same universe, same continent where it takes place. It's the fifth one, and that was released 2011, I think. And that takes place about 200 years in-game, 200 years after the events of Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. What have you got there?
Just a list of all the
Elder
Scrolls
games.
Arena came out in 1994.
94, yeah. So that was the first one. I know very little about that one, but it was basically the first. And for each iteration had like they expanded the lore a little bit. They expanded the world, the story.
So what is the world and the lore and the story?
There's loads of DLCs as well, which you're probably looking at.
Probably. In a nutshell, elevator pitch blurb. What's the world of Elder
I'll give you a brief
Scrolls
overview.
vibes?
I don't know if it's a good elevator pitch because I will go into too much detail. But the Elder Scrolls is a fantasy setting. It's set in the world of Tamriel, on the planet of Nirn. Yeah. And it takes place. There are different provinces where different races of people hail from. So you've got humanoid characters, you've got like elvish characters, and a few beast-like characters as well.
Pretty standard.
And the whole concept of each of the games kind of follows the same formula, where you are a character and you can create a character based on however you want to play it. So you can be with any other race, you can be any classes you want to within that race. You are set for some reason. It's up to you to sort of save the world for some reason or another. And whether it be like prophecy or just good luck, you have complete control over what you do in the games. So these are the first ones. Like the reason that I fell in love with Elder Scrolls because of Oblivion when it came out. I was in college. I have memories of staying up till 6 o'clock in the morning. This was like after you leave, because you have to be in the dorms for 2 years, and then you can live in an apartment, whatever. So I was
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
So college is 4 years in America.
Oh.
So yeah,
all of it
usually.
Oh, wow.
I was there for 5 because I switched majors, at one point after my first year. Anyway, so I was in the dorms for 2 years, and then you're allowed to live out in a rented house, whatever. So I moved into an apartment with a good friend of mine. He had a projector screen.
Nice.
That I still remember. He would like put it on the far end of the wall, and it's just a blank white wall, massive sort of high def for at the time, like 6 foot wide screen. It was, and I would play Oblivion with its janky graphics and like weird play style and leveling system, whatever else, like till the early hours of the morning, and it was just gorgeous. And the thing is, like, it was the first game that I had ever played where you were given a complete open sandbox play style. So if you've heard that phrase before, where like you basically go through the tutorial, which in Oblivion is like a sewers kind of area. You learn the story, you learn the basics on how to play, how to cast spells, how to equip weapons, whatever. And then once you escape the sewers, you are in this open world, and you get the tutorial screen pop up and say, "Hey, the tutorial's done. On the map, the red markers where the next quest is." Or you can go visit that town and sell some stuff that you accumulated, or just do whatever you want to. Good luck,
Bye now.
So it's like, there you go. You're in this open world. You have a complete choice. I remember the first thing I did was I crossed the river and then went into this room and got my ass handed to me by this bandit. Just came up with this big weapon and went whap, and that was it.
I was like, I would have fallen into the river.
Yeah,
knowing my luck.
Yeah, you can swim and stuff, but like that kind of open sandbox, and you just there was no rules. You just do whatever you wanted to, and the Elder Scrolls as a whole are known for its detail. Like you can cook, you can marry, you can build things, you can enchant your armor and weapons. There's plenty of factions you can join. There's guilds you can join, and they have their own separate quest lines in addition to like the main quest line, which drives the story. And it's just this world where you just get immersed in, and it's. I'm really looking forward to doing it again with Oblivion.
Is there like a central story quest bad guy, or are there lots of different ones? Or
so in the lore, I don't know as much about the first 3 games, but especially in 4 and 5, and also the Elder Scrolls Online, which is an MMORPG that came out just shortly after Skyrim did. I played that a bit. So, like, in the world, you have the creation myths about where, like, the different pantheon of gods have created the world.
Right.
And you have, like, the 9, what they're called the 9, or the 8, depending on what era you play in, as, like, the sort of the benevolent gods, I suppose. And then there's, like, a lower class of Daedra, which are, like, the evil sort of demonic gods who are, for whatever reason, they're just either sort of trying to bring about destruction of the world, or they're just ambivalent about humans, whatever. And they're usually the antagonists in any one game. So there's like maybe 13 or 14 sort of Daedra demons who you can interact with and stuff. And they each have their own realm of Oblivion, which is kind of like hell, I suppose. It's kind of like the other dimension where they all come from. And in this particular game, for example, in Oblivion, there's like a religious cult of followers who follow one particular Daedric prince, as they're called, and they open up these gates that allow the monsters to come through, basically. And so they've killed the emperor and all of his known heirs, and so you're tasked with finding the unknown heir, voiced by Sean Bean, and
Nice.
help him stop this Oblivion crisis. The emperor, by the way, is voiced by Sir Patrick Stewart.
what?
Did you not know this? Yeah.
In Oblivion?
In Oblivion, yeah. And I know that for the remaster, they had a couple voice actors come back and like re-record, because there was only a small number of people. For like the common folk, I'm pretty sure that his are the same. But
you can't. His voice is so different now.
Probably, yeah.
20 years on,
Yeah.
It sounds very different.
Probably.
No way.
Should we play the intro to the Elder Scrolls?
Yes. I don't know anything about this, so I thought Skyrim was just a game, because the only reason I know of it, I haven't played any of these, is because there was a stage a few years ago where people would listen to Skyrim music while they were working.
Oh my god, yes.
To help you concentrate. And I was like, this sounds stupid. It was so good.
It's so good.
Because it's background, but motivating, like energetic motivating, without being, it's not lo-fi chill, which would make you like zone out. It's like, concentrate, let's go, let's keep moving. I used it during the pandemic when I was like, oh god, I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I know of. I didn't realize it was
like the music in Oblivion is so iconic, because it's just sort of playing in the background, and it's part of my psyche now. and it's great. But the music in Skyrim was just another level. Like you can listen to that; it's just so beautiful. And because Skyrim was in the lore, basically, it's set 200 years after the Oblivion Crisis, and you're up in the province of Skyrim, which is a different sort of part of the land, and a lot of the time spent in Skyrim is just walking around, looking at like the aurora that are in the sky at night, and it's just so gorgeous. Let me find the Oblivion intro.
So that one came. What did that one come out in 2016 or 2011?
2011 was the first one, and then of course they had a couple of expansions. So sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Several. If someone wanted to play this, do they have to have played any of the previous ones? Is Oblivion
Mm-hmm.
a decent jumping in point?
Yes.
Or is there a better one? If you want to play, I was like, right, I want to get into video games. I'm going to waste some time in my life. Should I start with Oblivion?
Put aside all other prior
ambitions, goals, and social activities.
Oblivion's a really good each game. The one that I've played anyway. I think three I've played. They're all independent. They're all independent games within the same universe. So 4 starts off, and you have like Patrick Stewart telling you about, I've had these dreams, and I think my children are dead, whatever. And then you sort of you go through that storyline of saving the empire. So the bloodline. So basically, in the emperor's bloodline, it's called the Septim bloodline, and his reign comes to an end. Basically, don't give you too many spoilers about what happened with Sean Bean's character, but
Sean Bean dies. I'm assuming.
Let's just put that the bloodline ends, and so. In the realm of Skyrim, 200 years later, there's a big upheaval about who's in control. And what was your question?
I don't know.
Oh, right. So the whole story is about that. That's the whole story. And so by the time you come over onto Skyrim, all the stuff, all the lore that you need to know is within that game. So you can, so in Skyrim, you can learn about there's mentions about the Oblivion Crisis, but it doesn't matter to the current game. Because the current game is about the return of dragons and the big civil war. Yeah, so it's really fun, really interesting. So, in Skyrim, you are the Dragonborn, and so you're the character that's going to rise up and defeat the dragons. Because this ancient dragon has just appeared, and no one knows why. Because dragons were thought to be extinct for hundreds of years. And then through the use of the actual Elder Scrolls, you go back in time to learn that the Dragonborn were humans, men, who could utilize dragon speak to speak with the dragons and bring them down. But there hasn't been a need for them because dragons have been extinct. So you use one of the Elder Scrolls, which
title of your sex tape. Oh no, title of the game.
Title of the game, which don't appear very often in the Elder Scrolls games, but they're referenced a lot. And you use one to go back in time to watch what the Dragonborn did. Basically, used a dragon shout to send this big bad dragon called the World Eater. They couldn't defeat him, so they just sent him forward in time, like hundreds of years, which is why he's appeared now. And then once he's gone, then they defeat all the other dragons. So the dragons are extinct, but suddenly this one's back, and he's like, "What the fuck?" So while he's going around resurrecting all those old dragons, you're learning how to be Dragonborn and learning how to use the dragon shouts to bring him down. This is the story of Skyrim. So like that's a game that's in and of itself its own game. You don't have to learn anything about the Oblivion Crisis, for example.
What's the Oblivion Crisis?
The Oblivion Crisis is the religious cult that's opening up whole portals to the realm.
The religious cult or the demons?
A religious cult.
So for the demons.
Yeah. So remember there were like 13, 14 Daedric princes, and they're called Daedric princes, although a lot of them don't have genders.
I thought you said they don't have genitals. Like, what's the point?
They don't have genitals either because it's a PC game.
Oh.
Yeah, so one of the particularly destructive ones has a religious cult. They want to help bring about the end of the world, and so they're opening up these portals to his realm. And of course, the end of the bloodline. Where were we? Oh yeah, we're going to do the remaster. This is the intro.
Behold, in darkness, a doom sweeps the land.
So even this trailer here, you can tell that they've updated a lot of the graphics.
Yeah.
He looks brilliant. What was I saying? Like the whole his face has been updated. I mean, if you like, you can even
Looks
see.
like him.
I don't know if it looks like him very much because he's got hair.
Oh, it looks like him in a wig. Fair enough.
Him in a wig. Yeah, and it's just it's pure nostalgia bait, and I'm here for it.
Is it the same price as when it first came out?
I don't remember.
I get it.
Probably not.
How much was it?
£50. It's a $49.99 price point, and considering I spend more than that in travel every week, I was like, I can spend this on myself. So you can play as, because it's a high fantasy setting where there's like a lot of it is like there's a race of humans that are basically like Roman Imperials, Roman sort of legion. Like even their names are like Bretis Malleus, and I'm Blingly Gallius, whatever.
White guys love that shit.
I know they do. And kind of boring to play as, though, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather play as a beast character. Anyway,
Hell
so you
yeah.
have like these humanoids, and there's like weapons, and like there's dragons. Obviously, there's a lot of magic, not a lot of technology, and it's just really, really in depth. The beast classes you can play as, you've probably seen them before. The cat people called Khajiit. I don't know if you've seen this. So I'll show you some photos of what these characters are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So talking about the character creation, that's what I want to talk about. So basically,
Yes, go on to that.
Oblivion back in the day, because they wanted to make it a highly customizable character that you can play as. You can be anything you want to, because you are the one who's going to save the world.
Sure.
You are the Dragonborn. You are the reincarnation of this old hero, this elf hero, whatever. Like that's a different game. But like you're always, it doesn't matter who you are as a person, because you are destined to become great or whatever. It was been foretold in the Elder Scrolls.
Right.
So being highly customizable back in 2006, they kind of went a bit overboard, because it was kind of one of the first ones where you could go into so much detail about how you actually look. Like, you remember us playing Baldur's Gate and how you can customize people's faces and eyebrows and hair color. And
We took like 40 minutes to customize the penises.
yeah, and the penis, there's 3 different penises nowadays. But back then, it took like at least an hour to figure out who you wanted to be, because there's so much customizable options. Oblivion was ridiculous, because you could change like brow length, chin height, width of your lips, whatever, and all sorts of ridiculous dimensions that people and of course, like I said, it's the same game.
But like, could you have even seen it on a PlayStation 3? Would it have been good enough?
I mean, the ironic thing is that you spend an hour making this character, then you put on a fucking helmet for the whole game. It's like, what's the point? Which is why I make it. Which is why I make a point when I play Oblivion, because when you have enough experience, whatever, you have to level up. You have to find a bed and sleep to level up. So when I find a bed, I make sure I get out of all of my armor and put put my night clothes on or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing as a female, so I need to have
of course. Yes,
clothes.
I would as well.
Strong female character.
Hell yeah.
And go to bed so I can see the hair. Like, oh yeah, that's what you
There
look
she
like.
is. That's nice.
Right. So let me show you some of the hilarious characters that people are making. So there are 10 races, different humanoids, or let me think. There's 4 humanoids. There's 4 humanoids, 4 elves, and 2 beast races. And for you nerds who are listening, I'm counting the orcs as elves, because that's what they are in this world.
What?
The orcs are called Orsimer. They are, in the lore, they are elves who were spurned by the Daedric prince Malakath, who cursed them and made them into orcs. So they used to be elves, and so they're called anyway. So you got people like that, like very beautiful, with the hair and stuff, and then you got people who are doing stuff like this. So have you seen this JD Vance thing? So that's like one of JD Vance's headshots, and people have just sort of AI'd it into like being a chubby, fat, young looking person, and they've replicated that on the character creation in Oblivion.
Fantastic.
And then you get random stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So you can see how like people will broaden their people's faces. The
Oh,
nose would be
it kind
weird.
of looks like claymation plasticky stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fun.
So not always going after the pretty ones then.
No, of course not. But then like you have to sort of
Right.
you're a highly customizable character in the same realm as like D&D when you have like I want to make a shapeshifter who has a long tail and
Yeah.
like 3 horns, whatever. It's like that's the similar thing. But then on the other hand, you can make, yourself as well.
Oh, the guy from Nickelback.
Is that who it is?
Yes. Chad Kroger from Nickelback.
That sounds right. So even like the beast races, like the cat people.
Why is the cat person the hottest one of all of them so far?
Because they're awesome.
Like
know.
far hotter than the Chad Kroger
Absolutely.
and JD Vance.
But you can have like different kind of
Way hotter.
color fur.
That's so cool.
So that's like what a decent orc looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Anyway, this isn't interesting for people on audio, is it?
No.
So one thing. Okay, here we go. In the Elder Scrolls lore, when you play the games, there's different factions you can join. There's a mages guild. There's a fighters guild. There's usually a thieves guild. There's an assassins guild, which is called the Dark Brotherhood.
Like in with Gambit and X-Men. He's a thieves guild.
Yes, very much. There's like a quest of champions as well, which kind of is it's just all about fighting and stuff. The Dark Brotherhood quest line in Oblivion is one of the darkest, most interesting pieces of storytelling that I've ever come across. Because as an assassin's guild, it's very secretive and very sort of like how you get given your jobs is very under the radar, and obviously the people who are hiring the guild to do these things have to have their own kind of payment, whatever. And there's such a twist, and there's such a sort of a way that it resolves itself, which you're just like, wow, this is nothing I expected. It's people are saying that's even better than the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim, which obviously was an updated version. But I remember thinking like, this is so interesting that I could sort of make a fan book and just write about the story about what happens.
So my question is, will they make it into a TV show?
Elder Scrolls? That's an interesting thing. I don't know how they would. I mean,
Could they make it into a cartoon? Would that be
absolutely.
easier?
Yes. One thing that's interesting else about the people who make Elder Scrolls, Bethesda Game Studios, they are really
Bethesda, Maryland?
I don't think they're based in Bethesda, Maryland, but there's a city in Maryland called
Yeah.
Bethesda. I don't know the affiliation. Right. So what they do, they
The name derived from the biblical pool of Bethesda, which in Hebrew means house of kindness.
okay. Sounds pretty good.
Oh, wait, that's
That's the name.
That's Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
That's why Bethesda, Maryland is called Bethesda. Anyway, so creepy Bible-y stuff. Is there creepy Bible-y stuff in this?
Only as far as like worship of the 9 divines
That's
or
fun.
the Daedric,
That's fun,
Daedric
though.
princes.
That's
Even the
not
female
fun.
ones are called Daedric princes.
Sure, why
Even
not?
those who are like a female, and they're not
Equality.
and they're not all inherently evil either. Some of them are just sort of they just toy with humanity.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
When you were talking before and I kind of spaced out, I was trying to think like what kind of god I would be and like how
Yeah.
spiteful and vindictive I would be. I was like, absolutely would be one of the fuck around and find out. I think that'd be more entertaining.
We love a good rogues gallery.
Well,
the best ones are the ones that are like ambivalent. Like I don't care if this is good or evil. I just am doing it because of my
I
own.
want to fuck around with
I wanna
them.
fuck around.
Because if you want to be like benevolent, like that's going to be really frustrating and it's going to seem shit. Whereas if you just want to fuck around with people,
Yeah.
you'll always have a new project. You'll have a new way to fuck around with people and like maybe torture them, but in a nice way, but not nice.
Well, or not, because if you're completely ambivalent about it, it's just like I don't know if I am or not. It's whatever it is.
Let's see what happens.
You sound like the Daedric prince Mephala, whose realm is unknown, but who just called the Spinner. Her realm is like spiders and web of deceit and.
There's
things.
always a spider queen, isn't there?
Yeah.
I feel sexist somehow. What were
Yes,
we?
it was Bethlehem.
What were we talking about? What was the route we were going with this before I Bethesda Marylanders?
Right, before we Bethesda Marylanded, it was this is going to be fun to edit. There's been spin-off material. So obviously there's DLCs and there's like fan-made stuff, and there's been literally I think there's commissioned like 2 books from the perspective of some young girl of an adventure where the book takes place between the events of Oblivion and Skyrim. And the game designers and the story writers, they have a distinct policy, I suppose, of not discrediting any of it. They don't want to say like, oh, this is canon, this isn't canon. They're not saying anything either way.
Okay.
Which gives people a big sort of opportunity to sort of feel like they're in the world. You know, so like stuff that's lore.
It's been going on for so long. Do you think that keeps it popular? The fact that you can kind of make your own fan fiction and fan lore, it kind of keeps you invested in that world. If it's going for 30 fucking years.
Yeah. A lot of it also has to do with Elder Scrolls Online, which takes place like in a previous era, like it's in the past when there was only eight divines,
right?
And because that's an online game where they're always expanding it with new sections. I think the idea is to eventually cover the whole of Tamriel. Don't know if they ever will, but they keep releasing more and more DLC where they can play this new thing, play with this new stuff. It was big back in the day. I kind of stopped playing it right around the time when the pandemic sort of kicked off. I got busy. But it's
busy.
Yeah, it's very,
we did not.
Very detailed, very, very lore heavy. And the people who, and it's not, I think it's a Bethesda, it's not Bethesda directly, it's one of their affiliates who is creating all the lore. And that's all sort of part of it as well now. So even if there's discrepancies, it's completely fine because it's kind of explained in one way or another. So like in a lot of the games, depending on what faction you pick, like the resolution of that storyline will be one way or another. Like for example, in Skyrim, you in addition to the dragons, there's a big civil war going on in Skyrim because of the political sort of fallout of the emperor dying 200 years ago, and a subsequent war with the elves. Anyway, and so
I follow you. Yeah,
some of the Nords are the race that come from who are native to Skyrim. Some of them are just sort of saying, right, we have this peace treaty with the elves. Let's just keep it. Let's just maintain this what's it called, détente kind of thing with the elves. We'll is it détente? Where they agree to stop fighting,
ceasefire.
The terms of surrender were not great for all Nords. Part of it was that they're no longer allowed to worship one of the divines, so it's back to 8 now. It's a whole big thing about whether or not you can have a person ascend to godhood. Interesting religious take. But then there's another faction of Nords who are called Stormcloaks who don't want to sort of do that. They're like, these are not fair terms. We're still going to call them the 9 divines. You can't make us not do it. And there's a whole civil war between them. And then you choose one of the sides and then you fight with them and sort of slowly take over the forts of the other side. And then that's the civil war storyline sort of concluded. But whatever route you take, there's no definitive canon where it's like when they eventually come out with Elder Scrolls 6, say it's in the future, they're not going to say that, oh yeah, it was definitely the Stormcloaks that won, or it was definitely the Nords, what are they called, the Imperial, whatever.
I can't correct you. It's all up to you.
The opposite of the Stormcloaks. If you don't side with the Stormcloaks, you side with the...
Insert here,
yeah. Just the Nord faction. They call it a magical paradox. That's the term I was getting around to. They just say like, oh yeah, well, both are true. We're not going to say one way or another. So there's a lot of capability for more spin-offs to happen. Like I don't see why you couldn't make a TV show or an animation or write a book about it. You know, I mean, there's this Elder Scrolls Online which takes place in the past. There's also like an app game called Elder Scrolls Blades. Blades is the faction that protect the Emperor. And they fail obviously in Oblivion, but you can meet a lot of the Blades in Oblivion, and then in Skyrim 200 years later, there's like one remaining Blade who you have to find who helps you with the defeat of the dragon, who's voiced by who's voiced by...
Oh, I thought you knew. I thought it was a big reveal.
I forgot her name.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Karen? Bear with.
Karen.
No, Joan. Oh my god, she's been in like loads of stuff. She's a great actress.
Oh, that was hugely anticlimactic.
They get loads of like actors.
I mean, Patrick Stewart and Sean Bean. That's how much higher prestige can you get than that?
I'm trying to think of who else was in that one. There's obviously those are the big ones. We can pull up like fucking IMDb even. So in Elder Scrolls Online, you get not Jennifer Hale. Is it Jennifer Hale?
I love Jennifer Hale. She's done a lot of video games.
I get her confused with Jennifer.
I've got Linda Carter,
No.
Alfred Molina, Kate Beckinsale, Bill Nye.
Kate Beckinsale was in Online.
Jennifer Hale's on there.
Is it Jennifer Hale? Yeah. She plays Lyris.
Oh, her birthday's the day before mine. In 10 years, but still. I love Jennifer
Anytime
Hale.
I hear Lyris Titanborn in another game, I'm like, that's Lyris Titanborn. Jennifer
Who's
Hale.
Lyris Titanborn?
She's somebody you meet in Elder Scrolls Online.
Laura Bailey's in it. Christopher Plummer.
So,
There was a Joe something down at the bottom. Is that who? Oh no, Joan Allen.
Joan Allen.
I don't know who she is.
So in Oblivion, you've got Sean Bean as the illegitimate son who's going to help because he's got the bloodline. And you've got Patrick Stewart as the Emperor, and Terrence Stamp is the big bad cultist.
Who's Terrence Stamp?
He played was it Zod in the original?
Okay. Oh, you got Malcolm McDowell as well. He's a great voice actor.
So Malcolm McDowell was in. So Elder Scrolls Online featured Joan Allen, Jennifer Hale, Malcolm McDowell as again the main cultist who's trying to bring the Daedric Prince into the world.
Right.
Kate Beckinsale is I think she's one of the Eyes of the Queen.
Bab.
She's one of the that's like a spy network for the Aldmeri Dominion.
Yeah.
Who else was in Online?
Don't know. Who was Linda Carter in it?
Linda Carter. I'm on IMDb and all it says is she was like these
Female Nords, female orcs.
random female characters.
Female, no. Linda Carter did background vocals. I find that hard.
Is that the
to
same
believe.
Linda Carter as
Wonder Woman? That's crazy. That
no, Kate Beckinsale was the queen.
But that's bonkers that Linda Carter... Azura?
Azura is one of the Daedric princes, who is the one who's not inherently...
That's Linda Carter.
Oh, she did
voiced.
Azura. In what? On Oblivion?
Online. Gold Road, it says.
Okay, so in Elder Scrolls Online...
What a cast list. This is incredible.
Yeah, I think you're looking at all the games, though.
I think it's an amalgamation of all of them. That's fine. Jeez.
In Elder Scrolls Online, do you know how, like, in World of Warcraft, there's the factions
No.
of, like,
No, I don't. But tell me anyway.
I think it tried to take the template of World of Warcraft where you have either the Alliance or the Horde. Those are the different factions. Yes, they're called the Horde. What are you looking at me like that
Like
for?
in She-Ra.
Are they called the Horde as well? Yeah. You can either side with the Alliance, which are the humans, the dwarves, the high elves, whatever, or the Horde, which are like the orcs, the dark elves, the whatever else factions. I forget who else, what other races you can play. And then so you have your own sort of side quests, and then there's a PvP area where you can fight online against other players.
Cute.
Which I hate.
I would hate that. I was literally about to say, it's like, that doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
But the white boys love that.
Yeah, min-maxing your stats and
I hate that shit.
I don't even know what that means.
So boring.
So
okay.
Elder Scrolls Online was the same thing, except there were 3 factions. So you have the 10 races, right? One of the races who are from like the middle of the sort of the continent, their land is being upended by this three-way war. So they don't really belong to any faction. But for the other 9 races, they kind of divide it into these 3 separate factions. And no matter who you pick, it wasn't always this way, but no matter who you pick, you pick a faction basically. And then when you go into the PvP area, you are with that faction, and you can't talk to other people online of other factions because it's all sort of, you in the big area. So Kate Beckinsale was the queen. She was one of the leaders of that faction.
Yeah.
The elvish one. And then for the Nords and who was with the Nords? The Nords and the Dark Elves, the leader was Peter Stormare, the Skald King, who was the guy from Fargo. Like, we eat pancakes now. No?
No, but sounds great.
Okay. And then the other one with the High King of the Bretons was Bill Nye.
This cast list is amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they had a bunch.
Could they take like the voice clips that they've already done and put them into a story and animate it for like a show?
Probably, because
rather than getting
so
them
many.
to re-record it. Like, that's a shit ton of footage that they would have recorded.
Yeah.
And then put it together in a storyline and then animate.
Probably. And and the thing is, like, for
Sounds fun.
Elder Scrolls Online, for each additional DLC, there's even more voices. I don't think that these big names will come back for those ones.
No.
But a couple of them.
Fair enough.
Like, you've got
What's Kate Beckinsale doing these days?
some fantasy thing. I was wrong before.
She's
Malcolm
gorgeous.
McDowell is the Daedric Prince.
Fucking
We do, in fact,
idiot.
yeah.
Of course he is.
Alfred Molina is the who is Abner Tharn? I think
He's got to be a bad guy, right?
He's a bad guy, and I
Thank God.
think he's the one who, he's like an assistant to the
DA.
emperor or something like that, and he's facilitating the overtake of
like a Jafar
of this-
kind of character.
yeah, kind of thing.
But like evil rather than comically gay. Like
Right.
an evil advisor kind
Evil
of thing.
advisor. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think you do have to side with. So I don't remember actually now. I think he might have been I think he may be a double agent.
Spoilers.
So I think
that
now that it's been a while since I played online, but I think I think he's untrustworthy if I remember correctly. However, they're sort of taking over the world. It's been a long time. Please forgive me. I'm not a complete geek. But he was he, along with Jennifer Hale, were advisors to the king, and they convinced the king to open up this rift, and that's what kind of caused it. But Abner Tharn stayed in power. Alfred Molina stayed in power, where Jennifer Hale went to prison, and that's how she into prison in the Oblivion world. That's
Right.
how she meets you, and you work with each other to get out to escape from Oblivion.
See, I love all the stories of this, but I wouldn't have the attention span to play the game.
No.
I just want to passively sit and watch it.
Kevin Michael Richardson.
Amazing.
He's like a Red Guard warrior that you have to meet, and he helps you. Tara Strong's done a bunch of voices. Jim Cummings did a bunch of voices.
I was just about to say, like, they're mostly British, but now you just shout all over that because that's all the Americans. Never mind. Never mind.
The previous there's when you so basically this particular Daedric Prince takes your soul, but your soul gets sort of sidelined and gets resurrected into the back on Earth, back on the Nirn. And that's the story. That's this kind of storyline where if you die in PvP, then you can come back because your soul has never really gone up. Whatever.
Of course.
So in doing so, you meet Michael Gambon, who plays like another advisor, telling you how to sort of. And John Cleese is in it as well. He plays a really like a jester type character, etc., etc.
So, how gay is it?
Good question, because I prepared for this. Phil Lamar, don't know about you.
I love Phil Lamar.
Tim Russ, apparently.
That's great. And Phil Lamar together. Oh my god, I'd pay to see that. That'd be great.
Anyway, so loads of voices, and even in Skyrim, etc., there's loads of voices.
That's an
as well.
amazing cast. I want it to be an animated show. Please do it now.
That would be so easy.
Use
for them to
AI
do.
for that. Pay everybody, but just get AI to do it. But pay everybody.
Pay
All the voice actors because you're licensing their voice.
Oh,
but
yes,
then
pay
get
the-
AI to like
to do the
compile
animations.
Yeah, to like compile all the game footage into animation and just make it a TV show. There you
I
go.
see. But the thing is about video game adaptations is we should do an episode about video game adaptations.
Should we?
We should. Oh, yeah, there's so many.
Maybe.
It's very difficult to interpret to make a story around the player character.
Fair.
Because the player, unless the player is
They can't see. Yeah.
Yeah, unless the player is a specific person, like you're playing as Aladdin or playing as
Prince of Persia.
Scrooge McDuck. That Prince of Persia. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Or Assassin's Creed, whatever. It's hard to wrap it around. So you have to figure out how to make something like
Okay.
that.
Well, I'm still on board for that because this sounds like a fun world that they could easily tease out a lot of cool shit in animation form.
Absolutely.
More of that, please, because look how great Vox Machina is, and that's just
Oh my god,
more
yeah.
and more of that. I would love that. No, my question was before we got sidetracked with this: how gay is it?
It is so gay.
Is it?
A lot of it has to do with.
I didn't think it would be.
A lot of it has to do more so recently than in previous, because obviously there's not a lot of opportunity to sort of do that recently. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that I think their ethos is you can be whoever you want to be. You can be whatever gender you want to be.
Black, white, or beige. Yeah, sorry.
Black, white, or beige.
Sorry, that was Lady Gaga.
Yes, it was.
So is it more gay nowadays then? Just because
It's more gay nowadays, and
freedom
for
to
some
be gay?
reason, maybe it's because there's a lot of more. There's more story in Elder Scrolls Online than there is in any one particular game. There's a lot of opportunity to branch out into LGBTQ characters. That don't think that's to say that there isn't any sort of opportunity to do that in Skyrim or Oblivion, but there's just, or maybe it's just the team who made it, because it wasn't Bethesda directly. When I look up, I'm on this page here where it says that Elder Scrolls LGBTQ. This is a fan wiki. There's a lot in lore, which I'll get to, and then you go to like individual games. There's like references in like some of the earlier games, some of the DLCs, or like there's a character who just like has a passing comment and like, oh, I'll do whatever is present at the time. And then more so in the recent games, most of it is just like references and stuff. And then you get to online, Elder Scrolls Online, and there's like more than half of the entire page is just this stuff, where it's like these two characters are explicitly husbands, or these two characters are explicitly in a relationship. This character is explicitly transgender, kind of thing, which may or may not be just the makers of the games that said, fuck it. There's been developer like Q&As, where people ask them, and they're just like, yeah, we just do it because we don't want to overthink it. Because you can be, the whole ethos of Elder Scrolls is you can be any character you want. And so when they record, for example, they make other characters who will refer to you, the player character, and they may flirt with you. And they're not going to record different lines.
No,
if you choose to be male or
the
female.
girl will flirt with. Oh God.
Sure.
Yeah.
I approve and appreciate when they record different lines based on the gender that you choose. So that when they talk about you to other characters, they'll say like, "Oh no, he's with me," kind of thing, or "She's with me." I appreciate that, because maybe I don't want to, with pronouns and stuff. But when they're interacting with you, your gender usually doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't change the
in terms
action.
of flirting. Okay. There's characters who will, for whatever reason, maybe it's like an error in when they're coding, or like when they made the character and they changed their mind. They'll be male and then they'll switch to female, and they will forget to correct everything, and so characters will show up as like other non-player characters will refer to this character as a male, but then like the character themselves will refer to themselves as a female, kind of thing. Or look at ones that are wearing dresses, who are clearly like speaking in the masculine voice, kind of thing. It's great.
I kind of like that. Mix it up.
And a lot of it as well is also because, like I said before, a lot of the lore is within the game. There's no narrator per se. There's no.
Right.
I mean, you might get Patrick Stewart saying like it's his story, kind of thing, but you just kind of jumping in. If you want to play the game and smash things, great. If you want to like learn about the lore, pick up a book in the game and read about what a character wrote about their universe. And so in these kind of books, in this lore, there were references to people having lovers of either gender, of any gender, kind of thing. There's one race called the Dark Elves who worship this triumvirate of gods. They call themselves gods, but they're also just really old wizards. Because when you get to be that old, what's the difference?
Yeah,
that's what they say. And so they'll fuck anything.
Nice.
One of them goes a bit crazy, which is kind of the storyline of Elder Scrolls 3, from what I remember. But
unhinged twink energy.
Basically, no, it was a female actually, the one who goes crazy. There's one. Well, one
less
female,
respect for that though.
Yeah, the crazy one.
Yeah.
Anyway, and of course marriage, because in Skyrim there were 3 DLCs, and one of them wasn't really story. It was just to let you build a house
Yeah.
and marry whoever you wanted to. And the developers were like, we don't care. You can marry whoever you want to. From this list, you can marry who you want to, regardless of your gender, regardless of their gender, kind of thing, which is great. And when you marry them, they will still call you my love. They'll call you my dear, or whatever they say.
Yes, they should.
I've made you soup. Do you want it? Kind of thing. Would you like a
Sounds
massage?
like a riveting game.
I know, right?
As exciting as it is to be a couple in real life. Make
Exactly,
soup.
yeah.
What do you want for dinner? I don't know.
I don't know. Where's our child?
Okay. Oh, God.
And you can have children regardless of your genders as well.
That's clever.
And so they carried that on with Elder Scrolls Online as well, whereas you can make so one of the 9 divines is called Mara, who's the goddess of love and beauty and passion. I don't know. I'm confusing. Anyway, love. Let's just say love. Don't come at me in the comments. But you marry another character in the Temple of Mara, and it could be any gender. And then if you wear, as part of your equipment, you both get a ring. And within the character equipment, you can have 2 rings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're both wearing the ring that you've created together, you get like bonus XP or whatever as you quest together. Like, it's super cute. You hate it. And then let me go through some of these examples, because I want to call out a couple of them online. The most prominent is an elf within a theater troupe.
So a theater game.
Theater game. Where I think, if I remember correctly, I definitely did play this. I remember thinking at the time that this is interesting because I've never seen this in a video game before. But there's a character who there's an NPC who recruits you to sort of say, I need to find my brother. He's been missing for a long time. You need to look at this theater troupe because that's the last I saw him, kind of thing. And throughout the story, you realize that there's one person within that theater troupe who is that brother, but is no longer a male. It's a female. And so there's this transgender woman who specifically talks about, oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people change their genders. It's not a big thing. Like, you may not hear about it a lot, but it could be magical. It could be just sort of the way that you dress yourself. It's like, it's just what I do. And I do encounter a lot of resistance, but I'm going to be who I am. And you can tell my sister or whoever was looking for me that this is who I am now, kind of thing. And I was like, that's a really interesting representation. If you know what I'm talking about, if you know it, then you know it, and it's really cute. So other than that, there's one race. I also point out one race of the beast races, the Argonians, who are basically like the lizard folk of the they can just change the gender whenever they want to.
Nice.
Yeah. There's no point. Like, they flirt with each other and they don't care.
I love it.
They're like lizard folk, and they're all born of all the races in Tamriel. They're the ones who are born from eggs, and so like crocodiles in real life, you don't know the gender. Gender is like dependent on something that happens in the environment.
You
know, like did you know this about crocodiles?
No.
So the gender isn't decided until they're hatched, basically, and it has to do with the temperature of the water that they grow up in.
Oh.
Basically, and so it's similar to that. There's like one offhand comment in one of the games where these Argonians aren't male or female until it depends on how much sap they lick from a certain tree.
Cute.
And that's all it is. Also, one last thing, in online, there's one early quest where you meet an Argonian woman who, she's part of this traveling group of like marauders, whatever, like doing quests with each other, and then she's been really sad, and so her other colleagues are like, can you just check out what's wrong with her? Like, you seem like a nice person. And you talk to her, and she's like, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I don't think I am who I was born as. I think I am a crocodile. And you're like, okay. And her compatriots are like, I'm not sure. She's been a bit weird, but just help her out, see this through, whatever. And so you go with her, and you like help her find this relic, and you fight whatever creature is protecting it. And you give her this relic, and she's like, thank you for helping me. And spoiler alert, if in case you want to play this through, she just sort of turns into a crocodile and swims away. It's just like, oh, okay. She wasn't lying. She told you once that I just feel like I am a crocodile.
Huh.
I'm not true in this body, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to live my true self. And turns out that she was right. She turns into a crocodile and swims away. You never see her again because she's a beast. So yes, it is as gay as you want it to be.
It sounds pretty gay. That's good.
It's as queer as you want it to be. A lot of it, again, is because the developers, credit to them, just like, we don't want to make it a big deal.
Yeah.
There's people who ask them, like, oh, should you make an overtly LGBT villain? And they're like, probably, but we don't want to make it the point of the character. Like, we'll make the character first and then, decide sexuality, if that's even an important thing. I'll end with a quote. One person asked in a Q&A, how do you feel about an LGBTQ villain appearing in Elder Scrolls Online? And the response was, I would hope that we built enough trust with our fandom and representation within our world that an LGBTQ plus villain wouldn't be a huge deal. And we would do, as we generally do, make the character first and then decide sexuality later. So yeah, I'd be all for it. Another person responded, I think there's always a worry doing representation. Another developer responded,
Yeah.
I think there's always a worry doing representation with an LGBTQ villain because you don't want to be disrespectful to the community, but I would say it needs to be a game with multiple examples of representation as well, which luckily we already have. So, when are you going to start playing it? Oh. One of these days.
I don't have anything to play it on, so.
Well, you need to sort that out. I've heard people buying PS5s because they want to play this, and I think that you should do that as well.
I just don't think I don't have the attention span for it. I know I don't. I wish
No.
I did, but I just don't.
What kind of character would you play as? Would you play as like a
Gay demon. Oh, sorry.
Gay demon?
Is that an option? As gay and as demonic as possible.
Well, like I said, the ethos is you can be as whatever you want
Yeah.
to. You can, Do you want to, like, there's so many different kind of spells do you want to cast, like, minions to fight for you? Do you want to blast with fire? Do you want to sort of be stealthy with a stabby?
I would
Would
see
you have a
myself,
bow?
my natural instinct would be kind of more of like, like a dark priest kind of thing. So where like really corrupt and evil and just like sending people to die for this and promising that and doing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I'd like that.
So you'd have control over, so you'd be more like a conjuration wizard.
I
kind
think
of thing.
so.
Yeah. In the world of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the new head of the Mages Guild has outlawed necromancy,
Right.
which is part of the Mages Guild storyline. But
I do think that's fair.
it's different. Like a necromancy is different than conjuration because you're basically conjuring a creature, usually from the plane of Oblivion or somewhere. So it's not really a nice kind of creature, but
No.
it is on your side and it's acceptable.
Like Ileana. Yeah.
Like Ileana, yeah, very good, yeah.
I would like that. That'll be fun. I just don't have the attention span for it. But maybe
No.
I'll try.
And it is definitely it is such a time sink, which I accept and I like it. I'm here for
I
it.
would like it. That's what I'd like. I'd like a time sink. But I don't think my brain is set up for that. It's really passive. That's why I'm like a scrolling TV rather than
Such
engaging.
a Gen Z you are in heart.
43.
Scroll, give me more.
43, yeah. Just a digital bottom.
Digital bottom.
Yeah, because I'm just like lazy bottom. Just there.
Oh, right. You're like,
Just
here it
lie
is,
there and
boys.
Take it. It's like, that's fine. Yeah.
Just come on
You
in.
do what you want. That's absolutely fine. Yeah,
Come on in.
Come on in. That's great.
Cool.
Great that we brought it back to anonymous butt sex. So,
Well, these are our fans, aren't they?
both of them.
Stop implying that we have two fans. Although I should mention as well that what I said in the beginning. Are you sure you want to be a wood elf? In the
What's the
intro?
reference to that?
That's going to make one of our listeners very excited.
Oh, okay, great.
And that's about it.
Do you want to explain it for the other four?
It was just one. The other four listeners.
Yeah.
A wood elf is a race you can choose. Not my favorite, but when you go through this tutorial in Oblivion, this is way back when, 20 years ago, when I was playing with this particular friend of mine.
Yeah.
And we were going through, and she said, "Oh, let's be a wood elf," and then you can choose your race, so what your skills are best. You can choose your star sign as well, which basically means certain skills are better than others.
Okay.
Easier to level up. And then at the very end of the tutorial, it says this is your last chance to choose anything. You can change anything about yourself if you're not quite sure. And then at the very end, it just says, "Are you sure you want to be a wood elf?" And it just struck her as the most hilarious thing to ever be asked in her life.
Kind of passive aggressive.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to be a wood elf?
Are you sure you want to wear that outfit?
Exactly.
Are you sure you want to wear that?
Because you can't change it.
Yeah,
from now on.
Okay.
So there you have it. If you're playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion, dear listener, and you want to geek out about it with me, or do you want to send us some funny characters? I need to show Nick more funny characters. Please link them to us at our Instagram and our TikTok. Our handles there are at Incomplete Geeks. If you have a question for us, or if we missed anything, or if I got something wrong, please let me know by emailing us at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com. We love to hear from you, and we read every email.
If you'd like to bully me into trying to play this game or play along or anything like that, you could also join us on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/gaygeeks. Join us there so you can contact us directly.
It's free.
Free or whatever you want to give would be great. Help this
can.
channel stay online and grow. Thanks ever so.
Also, like this episode, give it a 5-star review. Even if you hated it, give it a 5-star review anyway.
Yeah, just lie. Don't tell Spotify the truth.
If you hated this episode, you know what would really make us angry? It's if you gave us a 5-star
Gave
review.
us a 5-star and then tell us why you hated it, whether you gave us a 5-star. And we'll
Sure.
read it and
laugh about it.
and probably change it.
If I got anything wrong, I do apologize. I'm not a complete geek.
But we're working on it.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
You just
Look at that.
You're a bit loud though.
Oof. Oh.
You went a bit Wisconsin there. Oh.
Oof. Ooh, now.